What's up, everyone? I'm Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures, and in this video we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes that I have made off-road. I've been doing this a long time, and starting out I made a lot of mistakes, just like I'm sure almost everyone else has. I think it's something that we can discuss here in the video and down in the comments, and hopefully learn from each other, so that we do the very best we can when we are out, exploring national forests, BLM lands, all the public lands that make what we do here in the U.S. possible. I think we can learn from each other and help protect those places that we get to go and not be idiots while we're out and about, because I have been a pretty big idiot in the past. So that's what we're going to do. I am in the Mount Magazine district of the Ozark National Forest. This is an area that I have spent very little time in. I've made one other video of a trip earlier this year in this area, and I wanted to come back and explore it further. So we're going to go explore trails that I've never been on, hopefully not make any of the mistakes that we're going to discuss, and hopefully have a good time and learn some things. So let's go. As you can see, it is a wet and very foggy, kind of really cold and dreary day. But I'd rather be out exploring new places than just stuck at home watching TV or even watching YouTube. So. So let's talk about mistake number one, and these aren't in any particular order of bad to worse kind of things. But the first mistake I used to make more often than I'd like to admit is driving on closed trails or driving on illegal trails. And when I first started, I think like most people, I didn't know what a motor vehicle use map is. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know there was something that told you, what trails were legal in national forests. And so, I would just be driving along the Ozarks, and I'd see a trail that looked like a trail, and I'd take it and see where it went. And it was, probably a year or so into my beginning of this, this life and this journey. I learned what a motor vehicle use map was, and realized, oh dang, I have been on a whole bunch of trails that are illegal to be on, which was really sad, because some of those are really awesome trails. I'll be honest with you, there's some really good closed trails, but we have a responsibility to stay on the legal trails. It's doing things like driving closed trails that just gives fuel to the fire for the Forest Service or BLM or the people who hate that we do this out here, to fight for more trails being closed. We have a responsibility to drive where we can, stay off the stuff that we're not supposed to be on, and just do the right thing and show the powers that be, and for my case here, the U.S. Forest Service, that we're responsible, that we care, and that we don't want to see any more trails get shut down. So I've driven on a lot of closed trails, sadly, and some of them are good. Some of them still get driven on to this day by other people, because they don't know, or some people just don't care. So how do you stay on legal trails? How do you know what trails are legal? And so that's where having a learning the motor vehicle use map, that's the key to driving on legal trails and knowing which trails are good to follow. Using an app like Gaia GPS with the motor vehicle MVUM overlay, the motor vehicle use map overlay, so you can see where you're going, see the roads that you're on, or pre-planning where you're going to go. That's what I did for this trip. I pre-planned last night the roads that I want to take. I verified that they were open and legal on the MVOM. So I'm fairly confident today, unless I make a wrong turn somewhere, that I'm gonna stay on legal trails, and it's gonna be a good day. Up next is one that's a real hot button for me, because I used to be awful at it. I mean, awful. And that's playing in water, parking on waterfalls for that beautiful photo op. And if I have old photos or B-roll of any of this, I'm going to include them. So I think I've got a photo of, my first Jeep. It's the silver Jeep in the photo. Yeah, that's me. I did not have a clue. I got into this off-roading stuff because I love photography and I love photographing all the waterfalls that we have here in Arkansas. And I bought the Jeep to get me closer out into more remote places to the waterfalls. And so combine my awesome Jeep and a waterfall in one photo. That's a cool photo. It's also highly illegal. If I had got caught by a law enforcement officer, in this photo, that would have been a $550 fine. $250 for being off trail, because there's no legal trail that goes across that section of the stream here, especially not on top of that waterfall. And another $300 fine for parking in the water, which is called resource endangerment. So could have been $550 worth of fines for that photo. And you want to get some people fired up about closing trails? Park in the water, play in the water, drive up and down streams. I mean, you want to get the powers that be ammunition to close trails, then just show your vehicle just parked in a stream, because that'll get the environmentalists all kinds of fired up. And that's the last thing we want. We want to show everybody that we're responsible, that, we only cross at legal crossings. We don't just drive up and down creek beds, playing in the water. That's massive. And I used to be the worst at it. Because your vehicle parked in the water it's a gorgeous photo. It's like the coolest photo you could take. Oh, but it's also one of the worst photos you can take. So do not just play in water. You cross streams at legal crossings. You drive in, you drive out. You don't stop in the middle of the stream for the photo op. You just go. Well, that's cool. All that old rusted farm equipment. That's neat how that guy has them on display out here. I like it. You don't see that very often. That's really cool. Well, this is dumb. Road closed. So it's a seasonal road that's open now. And according to the map, it keeps on going. Like I wanted to go out there to the end and looking, that could be a really nice view there. But right here, this gate is closed. Why? Well, that was highly annoying. So I'm just turning around and going back down the hill. That had great potential to be an amazing view on that bluff line, or a campsite even. No. Forest Service has it closed for some reason that we don't know. This is interesting. Cool pond over here. Look, there's any fish fishing there. What is there's a place to camp over there? I wonder why that's all got all the bars, the little fence. I wonder why that's all fenced off. Huh. All right, now here's a good example of my point number one is staying on legal trails. Looking at Gaia Overland layer with the MVUM layer on top, and so came in here, and this is by that pond, and so I've stopped, and so the trail changes to this, which I know is an OHV trail. And so if I click here, I can go into the details, and so this is open to ATVs, motorcycles, four-wheel drive, which is OHV, not highway legal four-wheel drives like my Jeep, other-wheeled OHVs, and two-wheel drive. So this is all OHV, not highway legal vehicles. If it was highway legal, it would say passenger cars, highway legal, four-wheel drive, that sort of thing. So this is all OHV, or side-by-sides, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, motorcycles, that sort of thing. So I want to go check out this area because it's called Buzzard's Rock, and there's a beautiful viewpoint up there, and so I'm gonna hike it and see what's there. And I know this is one of those examples because I mean there's the trail right there, and I mean it's perfectly wide enough for my Jeep, and I know people who have driven down there in their highway legal vehicles and camped on this bluff line, and that's a no-go. So so I'm not going to do that. So it's just an example of knowing the map, checking it, and then doing the right thing. So I would love to drive down there and not walk. It shouldn't be that far of a hike, but and I don't know what makes the Forest Service decide this road, which, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a perfectly good road. But for whatever reason, they have decided this is not for highway legal vehicles. It's dumb. It's dumb. I don't understand it. But that's the rules. Dumb rules, but still the rules. And I don't want to, you know, drive down here and give anybody ammunition to shut this down because people aren't following the rules, because that's what they do. And based on the last time I stepped on the scale a couple days ago, I could use a good walk because I'm a little fuller in the face than I would like to be, and a little fuller in the waistline. I need to get back in shape. This would be such an incredible place to camp. Look at this. I mean, you can't see much of a view because of the fog, but you can imagine this is just, look at this. There's the road. It was fine. This sucks. It's gorgeous. What a view. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Wow. Well, that was definitely worth the hike. It was only, I don't know, quarter mile, half mile at the most, top bar. Didn't take me long. I actually jogged some of it, trying to work off that donut I grabbed out of town when I left this morning. Might be another reason why the face is a little fuller and the pants are a little snugger. So thought I would jog some of it. Oh, but I'm on my way back to the Jeep, and this was amazing, and I wish we could camp here with the vehicles. I may actually, I'm gonna call the Forest Service and see if anybody there knows why. I bet nobody does. I bet it was a decision that was made and nobody knows why. Because it doesn't make any sense. But I think I'll find out. All right, well, this walk back to the Jeep is probably a good time to cover number 3. And that's wheeling in large groups. And by large groups, I mean anything more than 10 rigs. I don't like it. But there was a time, shortly after I got my Jeep, I'd maybe had it about a year, I met some other guys that own Jeeps, and we decided to go out together. And then we had this idea to form a Jeep club because there wasn't a Jeep club in our area. And so we did, and it grew like stupid fast. And so we'd do monthly trail rides, and I would lead them. And Jeep clubs is a whole nother topic that I will not get into in this video. If you want to know why I hate Jeep clubs, my last video on Tuesday was a Q&A, campfire Q&A video. I do those every other month. So if you want to know why I hate Jeep clubs, ask me in the next Q&A, and I'll be glad to answer. But we would do monthly trail rides that I would lead. We wouldn't put any limit on how many people could go. And there were a couple of them that were over 50 people. Lots of them in the 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Lots of them. But there were a couple that got over 50. And that's just a miserable day. It's just a horrible day. There's arguments that it does more damage to the trails, especially in mud holes. And I've heard people go, well, 5 groups of 10 on the same trail does the same damage as 1 group of 50. And that may be true. I don't know. But I can tell you, the only people that are having fun on a trail ride with a bunch of people on it are like the first 10, maybe the first 5 or 6 people in the rigs in the line. Because everybody behind that is sitting there waiting for the other people to go over the obstacle. And bless the people in the back. They're waiting a long time. And they don't know why, because they're half a mile back. And so, wheeling with large groups is not going to happen. I usually limit, any trip that you see that's me and my friends, even I will limit my friends to no more than 8. So, even on my rides with friends, I'm not taking more than 8. So I think 4 to 6 is a happy number. 8 is okay, and more than that, I'd just rather not. The amount of dust in that many rigs, oh my gosh, it's just horrible. So, and you can argue with me in the comments if you want to. If you've been on a group with 20 people and you had a blast, great. But were you in the back? Were you like number 18 on that trip? So that's my number 3, big groups. I thought I'd stop here and see what this is all about behind this fence. There's a nice little trail here. Maybe it's to protect some beautiful overlook over there or something. I love the informational kiosk that they've got here. I mean, that's helpful information right there. I mean, this is the state of the U.S. Forest Service right now. Informational, nice little kiosk and nothing there. Why have that? Got some benches. I guess if you're just wandering around the magazine district of the Ozarks, you can just come here and rest or something. That's a nice bench. But why? I mean, it's not like they really bothered to clear the view here. I'm sure there's a nice view right through there if the clouds and the fog wasn't there. But it's not like it's all cleared out here with the nice overlook. It's just a bunch of fallen trees and big trees that block the view. So, whatever. All right, this looks more better. All right, this is more like it. This looks like it has good potential. I like it already. right, this downhill section is awesome. I love it. But I'm gonna have to bring my friends here on one of our upcoming trips and do this going uphill, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. And if it was wet, it'd be real difficult. So if you're not subscribed, go hit that subscribe button, because I think this is going to be on my next trip with all my friends, and we'll go uphill. Should be fun. This is so cool. I don't know if this is coming through on the GoPro or not, but this clay through here is real slick, and I'm just kind of sliding all around. Oh, that looks interesting. Now this is probably a good time to talk about number 4, and it's probably the mistake that I make still today more than any of them. And that's just diving off into a mud hole without checking it. It's possible that all of these are doable, but just take a stick and test it. Like, okay, that's got a nice hard bottom there. But I mean, that looks like it could be really goopy down in there. So I have made this mistake one too many times of going through mud holes without checking them, and either got stuck by myself, which there's a whole video on that called I Was Stupid, and it was stupid, or the very first time I did it, you think I would have learned my lesson then. I was out by myself. It was one of my very first trips. My Jeep was stock. It was a stock 2008 Wrangler Sahara. So didn't have, you know, nice mud tires on it or anything. Had some okay-ish all-terrains. But stock height. I was out wheeling with the top and doors off, just having a beautiful day exploring the Ozarks. And I had been going through mud hole after mud hole, you know, maybe a foot deep at the most, just unassuming, and came across this one that looked like all the others, maybe a little longer. And I took off down into it. I think I've got a video of this somewhere, not with the doors off, but what it looked like with the doors on, just how deep it is. And I took off down in this mud hole, and I just dropped. And water started coming in. Like I said, my doors were off. Water started coming in over the door sills, and got all in the bottom of my Jeep. It's that day that I learned where my drain plugs were on my Jeep, and it was nasty. It was a bad day. That was rough to clean up. But you'd think I'd learned my lesson. But so this one looks like a doozy. I don't know if I'm gonna do this by myself. I think I would be pulling cable. Just because of how steep that is. If I did this one, I want to do this one, and ooh, that's real soft down in there. So look at that. That's deeper than you think. All right, so I'm not doing this one because that's asking to get stuck. So I'll do this one over here. That's also got a steep exit, and that looks like a lot of fun. But I checked it, so. I'm gonna go do this one over here. Well, I know some of y'all are upset with me for not taking that other mud hole, but I mean, I'm by myself. And that was a big ride. I didn't notice. But I'm by myself, and it wouldn't have been smart because I gotta get home later. It's just a day trip, but we will come back with my friends, and I'll go down that and show you what it's like. I have no problems going down stuff like that, but I knew that I was gonna have to winch if I tried to do it, so I didn't want to. But not testing mud holes is number 4. You know, if there's a mud hole, and especially if there's a bypass around the mud hole, that bypass is probably there for a reason. So check the mud hole before you just dive off into it. I have seen more people than I would like to say get hydrolocked from just diving into a mud hole. And it just ruined their day. And it really ruined the whole day for everybody, because then we had to recover them and they had to get towed home, and it messed up the whole day. And that was, that happens on a group with 20, 30, 40 people on it, and then everybody's day is ruined. So yeah, it's bad. That water crossing actually reminded me of my biggest regret, the biggest mistake I've ever made. And it combines 2 and 3. So the parking, playing in water, and big groups. So we were on one of our Jeep Club rides, and it probably had 40 people on it, somewhere around in there, maybe a little more than 40. And I mean, to a new Jeep Club, and you don't have a clue what you're doing, you're like, whoa, that's incredible, 40 people showed up. We're awesome. People love us. This is the coolest. And we were going down a steep, technical downhill section. And at the bottom of it was a water crossing where the trail picked up on the other side. And we didn't give anybody instructions once they got down. And so those of us leading the group are up there spotting. That's a pretty technical spot. And we're spotting everybody going down. Well, once everybody got down, everybody in the Jeep Club, they're all pretty new too, so no one there has a clue. So they just start parking in the stream. And before we got down there, I mean, there's probably 20 plus Jeeps just parked in the stream, and they're just chilling out, hanging out. Kids are playing in the water. Photos got to the Forest Service, and I don't know if there's a direct cause and effect, but shortly after that trail on the other side that made that illegal water crossing was closed. And so I don't know if it was because of what we did, but it was around that time period. So I own that. I take responsibility for that, whether that actually is why it got closed or not, because that was horrible. And that's my biggest regret, is the possibility that a trail got closed because of something that I did, or didn't instruct people not to do, because I didn't know either. But that's my biggest regret. My of all the years I've been doing this, my number one mistake, my number one regret was allowing that to happen, and potentially because of that, a trail getting shut down. And that's my biggest regret. And finally, the last major mistake that I have made off-roading wasn't actually something that I did, but it was something that happened on one of my trips back in 2020 that a friend of mine did. But I get blamed for it because it was my trip. I'll tell you what happened, and then you can let me know in the comments. We were going down a very tight, steep hill. There's a group of us, I think maybe 8 of us, 6, 7, 8 of us, I don't remember. And we got to this small water crossing. On the other side, there was an angled kind of rock ledge and a tree. And so I went first, and you got to climb up that side, otherwise you are going to go into the tree. And I was in my black Wrangler, and made it past it, and just nicked the tree with my taillight and popped my taillight out. So I just popped it back in pretty easy. Next in line was my friend Ben, and he and his JK made it unscathed. He did just fine. Didn't hit anything. And then my friend Ryan in his 4Runner, he was not so lucky. We stacked some rocks to try to raise his passenger side to not hit the tree. And as he went through, one of those rocks slipped out and he smashed his rear quarter panel up against that tree and raked it, and it was not a pretty sound. It was not pretty. Well, we had another guy with us in his 4Runner, and after he saw that, he wasn't having it. He was not going to go anymore. He was not going to risk his 4Runner ending up like Nick's. I think I said Ryan, I meant Nick. He was not going to allow his 4Runner to end up like Nick's. So he said, we're cutting that tree down. I'm not going to put my 4Runner at risk for body damage. And it was honestly, it was really tight. I don't even know if we could have turned around. We were already really deep down in that trail. In hindsight, maybe we could have stacked some max tracks, done a few more things to try to alleviate the risk of hitting into the tree. But emotions were high. He was not having it, and so he insisted that tree be cut down. Well, I wasn't gonna have that. I also wasn't gonna get into a fight with my friend over it. So I was pissed because I knew what was about to happen. I put my camera down, turned it off, walked away, and didn't film, didn't photograph, didn't even witness what happened, because he cut that tree down. And obviously that didn't make it into my video because I was pissed and wasn't gonna have it. Wasn't something that I supported. But a friend of mine was on the trip who also has a YouTube channel, and sadly he filmed, well, he didn't film it, but he may have filmed it, I don't remember. But he talks about it in his video that we cut down a tree, and by we he means the group. And so now I am forever blamed for cutting down a live tree on a trail. And that person who was responsible for saying I'm not moving until that tree's cut down, he has not been on a trip with me since, because that's not we just going out, we put our rigs at risk. So that's just part of it. But I'm not about to cut down a live tree just to get through a section of trail. We will make our way one way or the other. But that's unfortunate. I get blamed for that, even to this day. There are people who blame me for cutting down a live tree in the National Forest, which is highly illegal, by the way. So don't do that. Don't cut down live trees just to make the trail wider or make it a little more friendly for your rig. So I think I've pretty much covered just about everything wrong you could do off-road in my past. We've got driving illegal trails, playing in water, not checking mud holes, wheeling in large groups, and a tree being cut down on one of my trips. So I hope that was helpful. I've still got more trail to go here. This one's nice and sloppy, and we're just going to keep going and see where this ends, and hopefully learn something from that info. I've hit pavement and found a little country church parking lot to air up in. It's time to head home, but I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope maybe you learned something. I'm curious, post in the comments what your biggest mistake has been so far in your off-road journey, or tell me how many of the mistakes that I have done that you also have done. Maybe we keep score that way or something, I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Did about 40 miles of new trail today, and found some really nice ones that we will revisit again, the other direction, going uphill and stuff. So I liked today. It was a lot of fun. If you would give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Check out our Patreon if you like what we're doing, and you want to support us and gain access to special content and all of our GPS data and events and stuff that we do. Look at that Patreon link in the description. And for Ozark Overland Adventures merchandise, go to shopoverlandapparel.com. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.